Hey guys, I'm here in northern Tanzania at Mount Kilimanjaro. Mount Kilimanjaro is one of the highest freestanding mountains in the world. It is the highest mountain on the continent of Africa. And one of the things I really wanted to do in my first term, in our first term here in Tanzania, is to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And this week I'm going to get the opportunity to attempt it. So I'm here. Emily is not here. She is not interested at all in climbing mountains, or especially very high mountains. So she stayed back, but I'm here with my friend Nate, and we're gonna try to climb it. We're going on the Machame route, which is we're gonna do it in 6 days, 4 days to get up and then 2 days to come back down. It's the second most popular route up the mountain. Today is day 1 on the mountain. We've hiked for about 4 hours to get to the first campsite. We've arrived at the campsite, and the whole hike was basically through rainforest, and it was really damp. There was water like falling from the trees and stuff. It even rained for probably about a quarter of the time that we were in the forest. There was this heavy moss on everything. Really unique environment. And so we came through that, and we've arrived. It really wasn't a very hard hike this first day. Wasn't too long. It was a good starting day hiking up the mountain. And we are camping out in tents. Actually, Nate and I are sharing a tent and eating. There's a cook who's with us who's cooking food for us.
I'm about to have a little sip of life. Okay, the lesson is sometimes life sucks.
It's like salty orange juice.
Yeah, it's like bland ocean water.
Here we are, day two of our hike up Kilimanjaro, and so far it's been a good day. We've finished the main part of the hike. We've come up to the second campsite, and as you can probably tell by my attire, it's getting colder the higher we go. Last night the camp was at about 3,000 meters. Today the camp is at 3,800 meters, so we've continued to ascend. The peak where we're eventually going is just under 6,000 meters, so we still got a way to go. It's getting colder, and but the weather changes very rapidly up here. It'll be sunny, and then it'll be cloudy, and then it'll be rainy, all within just an hour. But it's usually always cold and getting colder. The trail on the way up here was good. It was more challenging than yesterday. It was kind of like just steps the whole way up. It was like 4 hours of going upstairs. Very rocky terrain, just this weird low brush kind of stuff. Really kind of alien looking, really unusual terrain. We got 2 hiking poles, and we use them just to help with balance and to help with climbing. Like, you know, you can use your upper body strength to help with climbing up. And it's been nice having those along with almost all of the other equipment I was able to rent, because I don't own really anything that I need for climbing Kilimanjaro except this hat. Alright, we're about halfway through the hike for day 3, and it's been a nice walk so far in the freezing cold. There's ice on the ground, not a lot, there's some water, but it's very cold. The terrain is getting more and more sparse. Seeing less vegetation. Some places it's just kind of barren desert with lots of rocks and boulders everywhere. And we're continuing to climb up. We're now at the lava towers, which is just kind of some high rocks here that we've climbed up to, really just to help with the acclimation. For the oxygen levels up here are so low that it helps our bodies if we climb up higher during the day, and then at night we ascend down to camp out at the lower altitude so we can sleep. So we're doing that today. We're here at the lava towers. Now we descend a little ways to our 3rd campsite. This morning when we woke up, we had some of the most beautiful views so far on this trip. The scenery was amazing when we came out of the tent, which was covered in ice. We got to see the Mount Meru in the distance, and then on the other side we could see the Western Breach, which is covered in snow, which is not where we're going, but the views were amazing and we're having a lot of fun. Here we are the morning of day 4. This is the big day. We've got about 5 or 6 hours of hiking ahead of us, followed by some sleep this afternoon, and then 11 p.m. tonight we'll be awoken to start the summit attempt. Yesterday we arrived here at camp in the afternoon, and once again it's a very beautiful campsite. Everywhere we've camped so far has been nice. It was cloudy yesterday afternoon. We got a brief glimpse of the mountain. It wasn't until this morning that we got really the full view of what's behind us. We're at a campsite where next to us is what's called the wall, and it's just kind of a giant cliff face. Part of it there's volcanic ash that's visible, and then above it is the snow-capped peak of the Western Breach. We're doing well. The altitude is starting to have some effects on us, but luckily no headaches, nothing serious. Just kind of, for me, some loss of appetite and some minor things like that, but we're doing well. We're taking Diamox, some medicine to help with altitude sickness, which makes you pee a lot. So I had to get up in the middle of the night, which wasn't too bad either because the stars were amazing. I've never seen anything like it. We're up above the clouds a lot of times, and the night was clear, and man, the view of the stars was unlike anything I've ever seen. Day 4, we've made it to camp after about a little over 5 hours of hiking. Today was the hardest day for hiking. I don't know if it was that the path was difficult or that we're just getting tired and affected by the altitude. I'm definitely feeling it with a mild headache and just like out of breath all the time. The oxygen's thinner up here. We're now at camp here at 4,600 meters above sea level. This camp is called Barafu Camp, and Barafu is the Swahili word for ice. And it's aptly named. When we got here it was sleeting. So we made it this far. The trail started out, we climbed up the cliff that was at campsite number 3, which was a lot of fun. And then we descended down into Karanga Valley, where we came across a stream, which was the last bit of water that we will come across until after we're on our way down from here. There's no water at this altitude. They had to carry all the water up from that stream that we'll be using at camp here today. And then we made our way across a really boring, kind of desolate area that seemed like it's just stretched on forever. There were piles, it was like a junkyard kind of, just piles and piles of volcanic rock, which is like this, it's everywhere here. Sort of like a slate, I don't know. When we're walking across it, it sounds like we're walking on like broken pottery. And there's just, everywhere you look, that's all you can see. And it was just, on and on and on, 1 foot in front of the other, breathe in, breathe out. Finally, we made it here to camp. We're gonna rest, get a little bit of food, and then we're gonna go to sleep at around 5 p.m. so that we can wake up tonight to do the summit attempt in the middle of the night tonight. All right, here we are at the base camp, Barafu Camp, below the summit. And it is the end of day 4, the beginning of day 5, and we are prepared and just about to make the final ascent. I wanted to let you know what I'm wearing for this attempt. For my shoes, I've got on my liner socks, my wool socks, my long socks, and then my hiking boots, my gaiters. For my pants, I've got on long johns, sweatpants, hiking pants, and then these waterproof, like windbreaker pants. For my upper body, I've got on my Under Armour heat gear, thanks mom, and then I've got an A-frame shirt, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hoodie, my big winter jacket, like a summit jacket, and then this outer layer, which is windproof, waterproof layer. For my hands, I've got on liner gloves and then these big boxing gloves. In my hand, I've got my Cliff Bar, thanks Michael and Megan. On my head, I've got, what is this thing called?
Balaclava.
Balaclava. Face mask thing. My hunting hat thing. A scarf. And then all my hoods. 3 hoods from the jackets that are up there. So hopefully I won't get too cold on the way up. Alright, it's 4:30 a.m. and we've arrived at Stella Point, which is the last checkpoint before we make it to the highest peak, our final destination. And this point is at about 5,730 meters high, and the last 4.5 hours have been horrible. It's just so tired. It's so steep, and it's dark, and you can only see just a little bit in front of you, and I'm just totally exhausted, trying to keep my eyes open while we walk, trying not to fall asleep on my walking poles. And it feels like we crash landed on the moon and then decided to walk across the dark side of it because there's nothing here. It's freezing cold, ice in my water bottle. We're almost there though, so we're gonna keep pushing on. We feel good, not sick or anything like that. Just really tired. We made it! We are at the highest peak on the entire continent of Africa right now. Uhuru Peak is so cold, the wind is blowing, there's snow on the ground, freezing. It's really beautiful up here. That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life though. We've taken our pictures at the sign, and I think we're about done. We're gonna head down soon. It was definitely an experience of a lifetime. Probably not one that I'll repeat anytime soon. But we made it, and we didn't die yet, and we didn't get sick or anything. Alright, we are back at the house where we are staying in Moshi. We're down off the mountain, still day 5. It's been a long day 5. We were up at Uhuru Peak at the highest point on Mount Kilimanjaro this morning, and then we descended. We were going through deep volcanic ash, and it was sort of like snow and gravel mixed together, and we had, you know, our hiking poles were kind of like snow, you know, poles, like ski poles, and our, you know, we were so tired that we were kind of insane, and so we were just going crazy down the hill, and Nate completely wiped out at one point, and the only reason I think he didn't make snow angels in the volcanic dust was that his arms and legs would not move at all. And so we made it back to Barafu camp, where we started from late last night, and at the camp we just crashed. We were so tired, it was just ridiculous. And then we got up and had some food, and then they offered us 2 options. We could either do the normal route where we take 2 days to go down the mountain, or if we felt up to it, we could go all the way down the mountain in 1 day. We would lose the money, you know, because we paid for a 6-day route, but we had to ask ourselves, how much is it worth to have a hot shower and a real bed to sleep in tonight? And we decided to come down in 1 day. And it was only about a 5 to 6 hour hike all the way down the mountain from Barafu camp, but it felt so much longer than that. But we made it back on day 5. The total distance that we trekked in the last 5 days is just under 80 kilometers, which is about 48 miles that we walked, and I can feel it in my legs. They hurt so bad. We're glad to be off the mountain, I think. It was an amazing experience. I'd recommend it to anybody who really likes camping and hiking. I would not recommend it to anybody who doesn't really like camping or hiking. But if you're in Tanzania and you have the opportunity, go for it. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. I think that's everything I need to say about it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching.